I'm like, you're watching this video because you want to foster dogs? I guess I was like really bad at fostering because like I could not give her up. So, you're thinking about fostering a dog. If you want to hear Lola's adoption story and my foster story, then keep watching. If you guys are ready to hear all about my tips on fostering and adopting dogs, then stay tuned. Let's sit down and get comfy. You're thinking about fostering a dog. Congratulations. You've literally made the first step into one of the best decisions I think you're gonna make in your life. So here's the story. I got Lola in April of 2019. I was living in East Village. I lived in a 5-story walk-up. Okay, if you guys live in the city, you know the struggle. I was actually at lunch and with one of my girlfriends, shout out Colleen if you're watching, and honestly, maybe I had one too many margaritas, but at that point, like I had been thinking about getting a dog for a really long time. I just like doubted myself. I don't know if I could afford it. I wasn't sure like what it would be like in a 5-story walk up. I didn't know if I was like ready for the responsibility. I guess I was 26 at the time, which I guess is like pretty old, but I wasn't really like mature and responsible in every aspect of my life at that point. So I had wanted one for a long time. I was basically like sitting at this lunch and my friend was like, Liz, you just have to do it. You need to foster because A, it'll either show you that like you're ready for this and you want a dog, or B, it'll show you that you're not ready, and before making such a huge commitment, it'll just be like doing a nice thing for a dog, helping them out, whatever, and then you won't have to think about it anymore because you'll know, you know what, this isn't the right time, I'm just not ready. So it was literally that day, and it was a Thursday, I'll never forget it. I was eating at Rosie's. I had followed this shelter for a really long time. The shelter is called Social Teas. I'll link them below because I'm a huge advocate for them, which also happened to be on 5th Street at the time, so just a couple blocks away from my apartment. So, you know, I had emailed them. I saw on social media that they had like a new batch of dogs that had just came in. I emailed them being like, hey, do you guys still need fosters? And they were like, wow, you know what? We have one dog left. We're waiting for, you know, a foster. Can you come pick them up this afternoon? And I'm like, oh, you know what? Yes, I can. I'm just around the corner. I had done so much research at that point. Like I had already made the decision in my mind. I just like didn't know when, where, how. So I basically show up to the shelter and little Lola Bean is the only dog left. Okay, guys, keep in mind, I had no idea how old she was. I had no idea how big she was. I had no idea what kind of dog she was. I didn't even know her gender, so I knew nothing about her going into it, which if you're a first-time foster, I highly recommend that you do the complete opposite, basically. So you really want to get as much background about your like new foster dog as possible. A lot of times there's just not that much background to get. A really good shelter will give you as much information as they have. I essentially show up not really knowing anything about this dog. She was just like the last one. She was like so tiny. I had never had a little dog. She's 13 pounds. She's not tiny, but I had never had a little dog before. You know, I grew up with like a Dalmatian, like a German Shepherd mix, Samoyed German Shepherd mix, like big dogs. I never wanted a little dog, but I was living in Manhattan and my apartment was like a shoebox, so I kind of needed to have a little dog for it to make any sort of sense. So I show up and she's like so tiny. She like looked much smaller in the picture. She was a year old, which that's what they guesstimated. Later on we did like the bark DNA or whatever, and they told us her actual like around her date of birth. So she was like about almost like to the day a year old when I picked her up, when I got her. So the shelter provided me with basically everything that I needed, and a good shelter will provide you with everything you need. So fostering is essentially free. Like they're gonna pay for their food, they're gonna give you, you know, like their equipment for lack of a better word, their, you know, a leash, poop bags, collar, harness, like whatever it is, they'll send them in a crate if you want. So I essentially had to carry Lola home. She like didn't know how to walk on a leash. Like she came from the suburbs in LA actually, which I later found out she was rescued from a homeless hoarding situation like outside of LA. So I think that there was like 30 other dogs rescued with her, but she, you know, had like really, I don't think she ever experienced anything like New York City, so she was a little like timid at first. You know, I brought her all the way up my 5 flights of stairs, and honestly, story's over basically. No, I'm just kidding. So I was actually fortunate enough to be working at a place that had a dog friendly office, so I was able to bring her to work most days. The days I didn't bring her to work, maybe I had like a lot going on or whatever it was, I had a wag walker, which there's tons of different apps where somebody would come in the middle of the day, you know, come home and like walk my dog if I couldn't, and like leave you a little report card and whatever. It was pretty cute. I mean, I would say wag was, you know, pretty decent for what it was. Of course, like depending on the walker, I mean, sometimes they weren't the best, but that's a whole nother video. The first couple days was really like an adjustment period for both of us. Like she had no idea who I was, I had no idea who she was. I did have like a little bit of regret at first, like the first like maybe 48 hours. I was like, can I handle this? This is a lot of responsibility. What am I getting myself into? But honestly, shortly after that, it was, I'm in love with this dog. This dog is my soulmate and no one else can have her basically. Unfortunately, as most shelters go, there is a long waiting list, especially for small dogs in New York City. She was like almost classified as a puppy because she was only a year old. It's pretty rare that there are like many puppies up for adoption, and then when they are, they go pretty quick. After a couple days, I immediately, you know, fell in love with Lola. She was like so sweet, such a good dog. Everyone says that about their dog, but she was like a really good dog. And it was at a time where, you know, Bobby and I were long distance. I was like sort of going through some lifestyle changes on my own. Like I had stopped, you know, like drinking and going out and like basically partying so much, and like Lola was a good like catalyst to that, because it was like, no, I gotta be home by this time, I gotta do this, I gotta feed my dog, I have like these other responsibilities. So she like fit really well into my lifestyle. If you're someone who's not there yet, if you're someone who's still really into going out and like you have like a really big social life, it's just something to think about. It's something to think about because there is this like living, breathing thing that is completely dependent on you. So you need to be home to feed them, you need to be home to give them water, you need to be home to take them for walks and give them attention and discipline them, and it's a huge time commitment. So that's definitely something to keep in mind if you're thinking about going down this avenue. So a couple days had gone by, and like I said, I immediately fell in love with her, and I was like, this dog's mine, I have to adopt her, I have to adopt her. Put in my application. However, there was a long list of people ahead of me, so I think about a week in, I actually had to bring her back to the shelter to meet a potential, you know, adopting family, and the family was super nice, and I had no control over this, okay? I had no control over where Lola went. I signed a lot of things saying that this was not my dog, I was just fostering her. I had an legal obligation to bring her to meet this family. I didn't realize how hard it was gonna be, right? Like when I went into this, I was like, I'm just gonna foster to see if this is something I want. I'm the biggest foster fail, actually, so I'm like, you're watching this video because you want to foster foster dogs. I guess I was like really bad at fostering because like I could not give her up, but I think there's still something to be learned. So I had to bring her to meet this family, and it was a really nice family, like 2 kids, whatever. They really liked her, but it was the first dog that they met, so the family was like, you know what, we're not sure, like we need to sleep on it. And I'm over here like, oh my god, sleep on it all you want, like take your time, no rush, you know what I mean? Because I'm just like praying that it falls through. Guys, I was so in love with my dog. Like I knew she was my dog, and so at that point I had nothing to lose. I actually ended up like emailing the family like on a sidebar about the shelter and just being like, listen, if she's not the perfect fit for you at this time, like my application's right behind yours, so if she's not for you, just know that she's gonna like be in a really good home. Probably didn't help that I was like almost crying at like the meet and greet, but they emailed me back being like, you know what, we could tell that you guys have a really special bond, and like this is just the first dog we met, where we don't even know if we want this size dog, this kind of dog, whatever, like we'll continue, good luck, like have a great life. And we've been together ever since. And literally guys, this has been the best decision of all time, and it wasn't always easy. Like Bobby and I were long distance, so I was doing a lot of it myself, and I lived in a 5-story walk up, so I had to walk down a lot of stairs. Like she wasn't potty trained when I got her, so like I had to potty train her. I was working a full-time job, and even though I had a dog friendly office, like it's still not the easiest balancing a dog and your full-time job. But when you really want something, like literally everything in life, you'll do whatever it takes to have it. And like I loved her, like I knew that like I was her mom, and I knew that like this dog was like gonna be my partner for life, so I just did everything possible to make it work. And honestly, it was like the best decision I ever made. Like I mean, I was 26, so I'm obviously already a grown-up, but like it made me grow up in a lot of other ways. And then at the same time, like it just makes you appreciate everything like so much more. She gives me so much joy and like brings so much love into my life. I almost want to cry talking about it, but best decision I ever made. So I guess my biggest piece of advice is, if you're going to be a foster for the very first time, I mean, this is what everyone says to you, but it never sinks in until it actually happens. Just be prepared to fall in love with this dog, because whatever dog it is, wherever you are, whatever the situation is, like you're going to fall in love with this dog. And just be prepared that you might have to give it away. You'll be legally obligated to give this to some other adopters, or you're gonna fall in love with a dog and like really do everything you can to keep it. So make sure you're ready for that responsibility in your life too. So all in all, guys, there are a ton of reasons why you should foster or adopt a dog. Of course, this is completely personal depending on the stage you're at in your life. You obviously need to take into account what your lifestyle is, what your finances look like, what your responsibility level is, etc, etc, etc. But if it's something that you're on the fence for, let me just convince you in a few short reasons. Number one, fostering a dog allows for more room in the shelter. So if you're able to foster a dog, this provides a kennel for new dogs coming in. Unfortunately, a lot of shelters are kill shelters, and when shelters fill up, some dogs have to be euthanized, and no one wants to talk about that. That's the worst thing ever. But having the ability to foster a dog might give another dog a chance to live. Another reason is that fostering a dog allows you and the shelter to get to know this dog in a way that the shelter couldn't get to know them in a kennel setting. It lets them know what the dog likes, what the dog doesn't like, what are things the dog needs to work on, and that just helps them better match them with their forever family, and increases their odds that this next family will really be their forever family, and they won't have to, you know, send the dog back or whatever. It keeps the dog socialized. You are able to give the dog care in your home that it is impossible for the amazing volunteers at the shelters to give each and every dog. So it just does a world of good. And if you're on the fence, I literally cannot recommend it enough. And furthermore, if you're thinking about adopting a dog, the best thing to do first is to foster. This is the only way you're really going to be able to know, like, are you ready for this? Are you ready for the responsibility? Can you handle it? So if you're on the fence, instead of just diving headfirst in, you should really, really try to foster, to understand, like, if you yourself are, you know, ready for this huge commitment. There you have it, guys. I know this video is so much different than my normal content, but honestly, I'm so obsessed with my dog and I'm so obsessed with this topic. I had to talk about it. I hope this helped one person out there who maybe was on the fence on whether they should foster or whether they should adopt. I hope this helped one person out there. Go ahead and leave some comments below on what your foster tips and tricks are, if you guys have any. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. It really helps support us here on YouTube, and it'll let me know whether or not to make more videos like this for you guys. If you really, really like this video, go ahead and subscribe down below. I do luxury videos every Monday and Thursday, and then sometimes I'll throw up passion project videos like the one you're watching now. But let me know if you guys want to see more like this, because Lola and I would love to give them. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you in the next one. Crunchy.